All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be talking about the also famous, how do I say it, a super phone that doesn't exist. Your best smartphone. So smartphoneconversations.com, that's the plug. Be sure to hit that up if you decide to check out the latest post. This video discussion simply covers what I think is never going to happen. And I think I'm going to make a legitimate point in here. You just keep watching and you'll see. And you tell me if you agree. So I've often spoke of what is the best smartphone. And then lately, I've been doing it in the form of best camera, best battery, best, things like that. So I always throw certain phones in there just because I know it's going to spark a certain uprising in the people that are reading that post. Now, the most famous of them all, when I speak of a people, is the people that like this phone, or just any of those phones that are in the same company. When I say best and I put one of these in the mix, everyone immediately jumps to that and just writes off everything else as though it doesn't exist. So let's give some credit where credit is due. iPhones are great. I have several of them. I'm recording with the front camera in portrait video on the S22 Ultra. So I've been lately getting back to using the smartphones that I talk about to record the content. I started my channel like that, so I felt like, I might as well just go back to that. Yes, I have mirrorless cameras. Yes, I have DSLRs. Yes, I use them sometimes. But for the most part, I've been using smartphones for the top-down shots and pretty much all the shots. Now, the editing obviously is done on my new computer, which I haven't shown you yet, or my MacBook Pro 14, which I absolutely think is one of the best computers you could ever get. It's just great. So, the best smartphone, folks, is the one that you're holding in your hand. This is something that we've all said before, because you can't convince a person, and you shouldn't try to convince a person that, what they're saying is the best isn't true. So, I tend to do it this way. I put up footage, and like I said, frequently people say that this phone has the best cameras, and most of the time, I can agree in some situations, but here's what I think the iPhone does the best for my shooting scenario. It doesn't do well at vlogs. I think I've proven that in this setting against the phone I'm recording with. This phone does much better in vlogs, and the iPhone shines when it comes to my top-down shots. I love them for the top-down shots. But in fact, it's still not better than the S22 Ultra for top-down shots. I'm waiting for Apple to stop being afraid and release the actual Pro mode that they're promoting on a Pro phone. This is a conversation I've had multiple times, and so it's nothing new. But I think a lot of times the reason we see in the comments section and just every social media platform that iPhones are the best cameras, the best video, Pixels are the best photos. Even as I sit here today, the Pixels take the best portrait shots. They don't take the best photos. I've always said they take the best portrait shots, and in the recent days, I've said that they do better in video. It still really can't compete with a lot of phones out there for video, even though Google focused on this with the 6 models. They've got to do more because the OnePlus 10 Pro came along, and the OnePlus 10 Pro, I've got coverage of that versus the iPhone 13 Pro Max, since people said that the 10 Pro doesn't match the iPhone at all and just gets obliterated about the iPhone. I just find that not to be true. People said that about the S22 Ultra, when in fact the S22 Ultra has some of the best cameras ever. Even photos on the OnePlus 10 Pro, OnePlus somehow has figured out, I got to push this Hasselblad thing, and I've got to give you the best content from it. So I speak from a regular consumer and then as a creator. From a creator standpoint, the OnePlus 10 Pro, the footage is fantastic now. Totally trumps my OnePlus 9 Pro back there. And it's not that it's beats up on it by a long shot. It's just the video and the photos are so much better. It's like they actually took advantage of this Hasselblad deal that they got. You know what I mean? It's like they actually took advantage of it. So, in terms of the best, again, people frequently talk about the iPhone first. If they see that phone in a photo, and here's what I've been getting. I've been posting certain pictures on my social media saying best, whatever, and then go. And it amazes me that some people still can't just comment on what's in the photo. This shows me how loyal people are to certain brands. They don't see it that way probably, but you're totally, and a lot of times also, people are loyal to what they have in their hand at the moment. Like you've met people that whatever they have, they switch to something, then that's the best. And then they see something else, oh, then that's the best. There are people like that in the tech community, and it runs deep in the tech community like that. It's so much loyalty, and I still can't believe this is happening even today. Okay, so we've established that Apple's ecosystem is pretty good. But we've also established that Android has a great ecosystem as well. Samsung, to be specific, their ecosystem, when I speak of, I mean like it pairs well with their laptops, their phones, their watch, the computer. It all, you can do anything from there. You can do all the same things that you can do from Apple's ecosystem, and even Google. Stock Android does the same thing. You can have your phone calls, your messages. You can have everything. It all pairs together on your laptop, your computer, whatever. These things are here, but it's so many people are so caught up into what they just don't want to see past Apple. If I'm being direct, they don't want to see past Apple and acknowledge these other things, probably because of the way Apple is as a company. They're afraid. They're afraid to take a chance. They're afraid that they're going to like something better than their Apple product, I think. That's just my personal view on it, because this is based on all the feedback you guys give me. It's kind of impressive to read these comments, whether they're rude, negative, whatever they are. I still read them, and you'd be amazed at what I do with your comments like that. I screenshot them and just crack jokes about them privately all the time. I think it's hilarious. Because, I'm not into, unlike you guys, you're quick to go into the comment section, and you know who you are. This isn't everybody, but you see these people, they're quick to go into the comment section and slam the OP saying you're a dummy, you don't know what you're talking about, this guy's an idiot, or she's an idiot, or whatever. And you put all these childish comments in the comment section, and, most of the time they just get deleted. Or sometimes I'll respond, and then you say, oh my God, why are you getting so serious? I'm like, come on. But nonetheless, there's so much loyalty behind the brands, even in 2022. And I think we've proven that the brands don't care about you. It's just the fact. They just want your money. But I think so many people are so, and let me go ahead and say something again on the record. I've said this before, and I'll say it again on the record. We as creators are a part of the problem, because I'm spending $13, $14 on phones, cash, like debit card swipe, boom, gone, it's mine. And then I come back and give you footage on it, and then you like it, and even though you might not want it or might not need it, you start to want it. And that is where I say that we as creators, we have to control what we do and say out there. It just takes for one person to say something about wasted space or the P on the back of the S22 Ultra, and then all the little followers come along and they start spreading that all over the internet. That's just what happens. If you're one of those people, then if you're offended, then you can exit right now, because that's what's happening. You're following something that someone else said. I had a guy comment on my video and said, I was going to get this, but so-and-so said, and I stopped him and I stopped reading that comment. I finished it, but I started replying to this person like, why would you base your choices solely off of what someone else said? That is not smart. Buy the product, use it for yourself. And then the funny part is, the comments that I get about, and we're going to talk about these super phones that don't exist and why the OEMs won't give it to you. I think you probably already know the answer though. But the funny part is the replies are, I don't have the money for that like you do. You creators, blah, blah, blah. And my thing is, you people should quietly sit back and just be entertained by what you see. Because it's pointless to try to engage in a conversation with someone who has no intentions on stepping out there and getting what they're watching to a certain extent. I mean, you can talk to these people, but some of these people speak with so much conviction and they speak with just so much fact that this is this, and they've never owned it. They don't plan on owning it. They're solely going on what someone else says because this is what they type out in the comments. I have been having this conversation since I started YouTube. It's incredible. So, and it's probably not going to change because you got those people out there that just watch YouTube and they can't just watch YouTube. They can't just watch the things. I can window shop all day. I have money, but I also have responsibilities. And when we talk about personal life, you can't just go out and frivolously spend your money because it's sitting in your savings account. People with adults with real responsibilities understand this by at a certain age. You can't just go out and frivolously spend. It's like playing the stock market. When I put money in the stock market, I got to be willing to lose that money. I can't be upset because I lost it. So in the tech community, as I roll that back around, there are so many people out there that can't afford it, don't want to spend it, and they're just window shopping. But they speak as though they have all the facts. And, you know, in the YouTube community, when you turn this camera on and you start putting yourself out there and you start giving your opinion, this is what you can expect. And you just have to take it. You got to take it. You got to take it and brush it off and keep it pushing. Or engage with these people. That's the bulk of the YouTube community. A bunch of talking and no walking. That's it. So let's talk about this superphone that you're never going to get. First, I'm going to tell you why the OEMs, because it's a shame that I've had this video before. I'm not going to tell you where this video is on my channel, but it's a ways back. But this is a conversation I can have every year or every few years or every 5 to 10 years. And I've only been on YouTube for going on 17 years or something like that, 16 years. But the reason they won't build you this phone that you think you're supposed to have. So the iPhone is a popular device. People frequently talk about what it doesn't have and what it should have. Haven't you caught on by now to know that Apple's not going to build the device you want? Not just Apple, every OEM. If they build what you want, they go out of business pretty much, or they don't make any more money. That's the gist of it, folks. They're never going to build you that. I'm at the point now where I want a folding iPhone. They can take this phone right here and just make it fold. I'd be totally happy. Just make it fold. Seriously, that's it. I'd be totally happy. It'll be a fresh new experience with an iPhone. But Apple's afraid. They're afraid to take risks. Unfortunately, Samsung's not. I was hoping Google would push off into the folding realm. LG decided to exit, unfortunately. You know, we don't have as many options as we think we do. And that is the bad part. I don't like being so limited in my options. I don't. So, this superphone that we want, all-day battery. Now, some people would say, my iPhone 13 Pro Max goes for a couple days. Mine goes for 4 days. I would agree with you. The iPhone 13 Pro Max is one of the most powerful battery. It has some of the best battery on a very expensive device. I agree with you there. But there are plenty of phones out there. There are plenty of phones out there that don't cost the same as these expensive iPhones that have better battery. Tons of them. One phone in particular that comes to mind is one of the all-time greats, the LG V60. The LG V60 it gave me 12 to 14 hours of battery life and kept pushing for over a day. That's just incredible. Most phones, if you do that, it's dying in that same day. 15 hours of screen on time, 16 hours of usage. You see, so like it's all just good. It's going to conk out in 16 hours, but you use it for 16 hours straight. So I want a telephoto lens. I want the best wide angle lens. I want. All these wants that you want are not going to happen because it puts the OEM in a position where they're not profitable. Why do you think they slowly stagger out things, you know? Don't you think that the iPhone you want or the Samsung phone you want or the Google phone you want already exist? They're not going to show you that. They're just looking at, they're going to keep gradually making money. That is how the world works. Why don't we have a cure for the common cold? Got all these cures and all these medications to keep you getting better, but we're not going to heal you because we make quadrillions of dollars off of you every year. That's how the tech community is. That's how the tech world flows. Have to remain profitable. Yeah, and the only reason they tell you their quarterly numbers is because they have to. Shareholders. That's it. But if companies could hide, they would hide all that they could hide. I think this mega phone that you think you're supposed to have for $499, a Snapdragon 929, 32 gigs of RAM, blah, 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 this just crazy stuff for $200, that's just not going to happen. And sadly, there's still people out there, like with the OnePlus 10 Pro, right? OnePlus 10 Pro, people say it's overpriced and it's a fail. Well, then you're saying the Pixel's a fail and every other phone that's in that price range is a fail. Because the OnePlus 10 Pro is actually a fantastic phone. So many people are commenting on that phone and they just don't have it. They went online, and unfortunately, hey, if you're offended, you're offended. They watched all these fake reviews of people just kind of reading a monologue and just kind of saying what they're told to say and not really pushing the limits of the device and using it for 2 days and then come back for a week saying we got a review. Those are fake. Those are just overviews. Okay, I'll be nice. Those are just overviews. Those aren't reviews to me. The review period, we've been over this 1,000 times. But some people don't give a device a chance when they should. Comes back to that brand loyalty. So the megaphone, the super phone, if you didn't know this already, I think you probably should know by now that it does not exist. It's never going to exist because then that means they're all going to go out of business. That's what it means. You cannot have this, even if a company makes a really good phone and prices it really low, people still complain. They still complain. It's incredible. Case in point, the 4A and the 4A 5G and the 5A 5G, all just phenomenal, just huge value to the consumer. Wonderful battery, wonderful performance, wonderful cameras, all of the above. Call quality, everything is there. The Motorola lineup that is under $500, folks, is spectacular. But there's so many people out there that get into this mindset, I'm not using an Android phone. You're broke if you use an Android phone. That's the stupidest thing ever. That's just the dumbest. I'm not gonna say that. You're not too smart if you think that spending a bunch of money on something and bragging about it makes you smart. You're not too bright. Because everything depreciates in value. Everything does. At some point or another, it goes down in value. Yeah, it goes down in value. So I think the tech community is always going to be naive and not realistic in their approach to getting this best smartphone, because it just won't ever exist. But on the flip side of that, it can exist to the person that's holding a specific phone and it's meeting every need. That is your super phone. That is your mega phone. That is your whatever you want it to be. No one's going to be able to take that away from you. Because I have several phones out there that I think are just king of the crop, and everything about it I love. Case in point, Blackberries. BlackBerry Passport, one of the most ultimate devices I've ever used. And then also the V60. There's just some phones out there. And I think one of the best Android phones that I regret wholeheartedly dropping just so I could move forward and continue focusing on other reviews is the Huawei Mate 20X. That is one of the most premium feeling devices, the best cameras. It can do with it was doing this these filters and stuff way back then. Yeah, shooting video with just people in color. It was doing that way back then. And to me, that's got to be like the ultimate battery, camera, performance. It was great. And people still have it today. They'll tell you, man, it's rolling right along. Especially the V60 people. That's, the Passports unfortunately don't have support anymore, but they still work. They just don't have support. But there are phones out there that I'm somewhat biased to because of my incredible experience to it, and I would label some of those as my super phones. But OEMs probably won't officially build what the tech community wants as a super phone. They're not going to do it. And it's just a way to keep you engaged to get more money. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed the discussion. What is your super phone? Do you already have it? Are you still waiting for it to get built? Take care.